Hi, everybody. It's Janet, and we're here at Fruit of the Vine Art Studio in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. I really appreciate you joining me and being here with me. I'd love it when you hop on, if you just tell me where you're watching from. It's always so interesting to see how many different places you end up showing up. It's amazing. So if you just say, hey, I'm watching from, Wichita, Kansas, wherever. I love it. I just love knowing where you're at and what's happening with you tonight. Anyway, tonight I had a friend request that I make a sympathy card for them, and I told her that I would, that I didn't have a problem making a sympathy card, and I thought, well, that's a good opportunity to come on here and do that with you guys as well. So I'm just moving some stuff out of the way. I've already got it kind of taken care of here. I'm going to use my Arteza watercolor pencils. Now, if you are a fan of my pet portraits, what I use for Original Pet Rocks, which is my other page. I've got another page called Original Pet Rocks where I make pet portraits on river rocks. I also do pet portraits on canvas, but I do specialize in pet portraits on river rocks, and this is exactly what I use to create that. These Arteza watercolor pencils. They're really great. I love them. My husband got them for me quite a few years ago, and I've been enjoying them ever since. So I'm going to open that up. I've already got my design kind of laid out on the card here, so I'm just going to color it in with my pencils. I intend to take my scissors. Yeah, right here they are. Actually, maybe I'm going to take, are those other little scissors right there? Let me see if I see those. I've got a pair of Fiskars, but no, they're not sitting here right now. I had a little pair of Fiskars up here too that could make a really pretty edge on it. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to trim this off right here. And I'm going to use this to put on the inside of the card, and I'm going to use Mod Podge to do it. This is sort of a, like a thicker type, maybe rice paper or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Now, my friend Carol Reynolds sent me this. She sent me quite a few of these different scripture verses on this beautiful paper, and I'm going to use this particular scripture verse to put on the inside of the sympathy card. And it says, look to the Lord, excuse me, look to the Lord in his strength, seek his face always. 1 Corinthians 16:11. So I'm going to use that. That's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on the inside. I'm going to see if maybe I should trim it down just a bit more. I think that I will. A little closer to the design itself. Just right around the edges. Bring this right across. And that'll leave some room for her to write a message on the inside of the card for her friend. Okay. Now I'm just going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to place it on the back of this paper. You can see it's pretty thick paper, so I'm not too worried about it being too wrinkled. Maybe I'm going to open this. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm going to have to take a pair of scissors to it. Must not have cleaned it off very well the last time. There we go. I'll use my muscles, huh? Sometimes they aren't that strong. That was really a test of strength there to open that Mod Podge. Now I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to take one of my flat brushes here, and I'm going to put a layer of the Mod Podge right onto the back. little bit more. Oh, I didn't need to dip it that far down in there, did I? Ugh. Mainly need to get it around the edges of this, I think. Trying to keep it down here at this end so that we don't end up with it getting all over the place, and then the next thing I know, my card's stuck to the table or something like that over here. Okay. That looks like I got it pretty good. Let me just kind of do a quick run right around the edges here. Okay, and I'm just going to take this, put that in the water. I'm just going to take this and put it on the inside of my card. And because it's a thicker paper, it goes on real nice and smooth. It doesn't have the wrinkling effect that happens a lot with those napkins when you're using a napkin. It just went on nice and smooth and very easy. And since I didn't use an abundance of it, a lot of it's not going to come squirting out the edges of it if I close my card. So I'm going to go ahead and close my card, and I'm going to tape it down so that it stays closed. I'm going to use my watercolor tape. Flinging stuff. Let's see, maybe I should turn it around in your direction so that I'm going to zoom you in here a little bit so that you can see a little bit better. I don't have much of an edge for it on that side over there, so I don't want to leave too much of it edged off. About like that, I'd say. Now this is also going to help keep my card from curling as I add water to the pencil. And that's one thing about watercolor pencils. They're really, really cool. There's a couple of different ways you can use them, and we're going to go over that as well. Let's make that about that long. Helps if you cut all the way through the tape. Okay, and then one might have to just color that little leaf extra after we get it done. Press that right there. Oh. Helps if you're not flinging things, huh? Okay. Let me just put this right here. Okay, it's not exactly straight or exactly square, but it's close enough. I need to put the lid back on this. And this time, let's just wipe that off, so that maybe the next time it's not so hard to open and I don't have to use all my muscles. Hey, Steve, thanks for commenting. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to tilt you down a little bit, and I'm going to zoom you in a smidge. Just a little. I don't want it to be tilted too far down. That looks pretty good, I think. Huh? Bring it back over here just a little bit. There you go. Maybe I can just move my table over if I have to. Yeah, that looks a little better. I want you to be kind of at the higher half of the screen. Okay, I'm going to put this over here for right now. I don't want to lose that. I'm going to use that on some other projects as well. So to start with, I'm going to start with my background now. And I'm going to use some blues. Let me pull these guys out here. And I want it to be lighter towards the middle. So I'm going to pull these two out right here. Probably should have brought me up a pencil sharpener for some of these. I use these quite often. Now this is one way to use watercolor pencils, just like you would think, like a regular colored pencil. You just color it around, and then you add the water afterwards. Now when you want a little more deep concentration, which we will do this too, we'll add the water to the pencil itself and use a brush. Now that's going to have a little area where you don't really see it, but I'm just going to put it there. I'm just going to fill this in with this lighter blue here, this skyish blue, going right around the outside of this cross. Got some pretty little daisies on it. Let's make this a little wider. And then we're going to use some more different color blues, working our way out. This blue a little bit further out from it. Get up in between these little leaves. And I'm not going to be too concerned about some of the blue being on my leaves. It's going to all work out in the end. We're not going to worry about that in the least. Fill this whole little area in with this blue. Filling in this area with the blue. See that tape coming up a little bit. I'm going to fill in this area with this blue. That's going to show dark right there, but that's okay. We'll work on making that blend. Get in there. I'm not worried about that. Okay, about like that. And then we're going to get us a darker blue. Here, come here. What about you? Aegean blue. The colors I've used so far were peacock blue, robin egg blue, and now I'm using Aegean blue. And you can see I'm kind of scratching and scribbling, sort of like, this is obviously not what you would think of somebody making as a card, but wait till you see when we start adding the water what happens to these watercolors. Down here. And then I'm going to get a little bit of this blueberry and just sort of bring it along around this outer edge. Just to darken it up some along the edges. Right up here. Right across the top there. Okay. Now we're going to work a little bit on these little vines that we've got growing here. And I'm going to start off with a dark jade. And I'm just going to draw this dark line right along through here. On each of these little vines that are coming down. And then we will make one side of these little leaves with the jade. Almost the opposite. I guess it is like the opposite. This side's up, that side's down. Okay, so down on here. That one's going behind the cross. Okay, and then we're going to get this lighter green. Spring green. And we'll do the top half of the leaves in this spring green. Just quickly coloring them in. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little bit of some yellow. I want almost an orangish yellow. Come here, you. Tuscan Sun. I'm going to take this. To fill these in right here. And then I'm also going to use this Tuscan Sun to do a little bit of the highlighting on the cross itself here. Just kind of bring that towards the middle in here. And then let me find a sienna brown. Then we're going to bring this color all up in this area here. Just coloring it around. Having fun coloring it. That's part of this. It's just is really about just enjoying yourself. I'm just having a good time sitting here coloring. And I'm hoping that you're enjoying it too. I'm just sharing some of the joy that I get. You know, being asked to do something like this for a friend. I don't mind doing something like that at all. I love doing stuff like this. So this is fun for me. And I'm creating something that someone will enjoy. I'm going to get some dark chocolate. Bring that right around the outside here. Get a little bit of the dark back in here as well. Get it too big. Now, get this dark around the outside of this side. Maybe bring it a little more down in these little crevice areas. I think that'll make a difference. Just like that. Hope you guys are having a really good evening. We are having cold weather tonight. Of course, it's not nearly as bad as they had predicted. I thought we was going to be having some kind of really wicked storm, but I guess that's a little further away than where we're at. Which, you know, I'm sorry for those that are getting it, but I'm glad it didn't come here. I'm glad it did not come here. Okay, so I'm just going to bring a little more dark down on this side. A little more dark down here. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Let me see, where's my white? Because yes, we will use the white. Get that dark off of it. For these little flowers, we'll color them in. But we are also going to be using a white marker, acrylic paint marker, that I'm going to use to do all the little finishing touches to it. All the little finishing touches. Okay, so now let's get our water. Put the pencils that we used over here so that we can go back to those colors when needed. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start working from your light to your dark. So let me get my little brush here, and I will need a clean paper towel. That's a big one. Okay. So I'm first going to just do my little flowers, even though you really don't see the white, but it will show. If you don't do it, it will show. I tip some of the water off as I dip it out of the cup and wipe it on my paper towel so that I don't saturate this with too much water. I'm going to drag just a little bit of this yellow right into these little white flowers. Just a little bit. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Then go to the yellow in the middle, get it good and wet, and then just pull it out. Into the flower petal. Okay. Now we're ready to work on the third little flower. Wet it in the middle. And then just pull a little bit of yellow. I don't know if you can see it if it's zoomed in far enough, but if not, I will be posting a picture. Once I'm done, as usual, I always try to post a picture for you so you can see the finished product itself. How did it turn out? Some things don't come out as well as you would hope, but some things really surprise you how well they do turn out. Okay, now I'm going to work on these little green leaves. Oop, that's too much water right there. Let me pull that off and we'll bring it up here. dark green going, and then you can get around the light green. Dip back in my little water bottle or water droplet there. Globule. I can't even figure out what I'm trying to say here. That one didn't get the light green on the other side of it, did it? We'll just have to pull some from here. And maybe touch this light green pencil. Get me some green on here. And we'll fill this little spot in with green. And get it wet. And then you just touch the green color right into it, and it just absorbs it all. There we go. Just kind of dragging it around the outside and then over the top. Activating that dark green mainly. Get a little more water on here. Touch it. Pull this down right through here. Get that water flowing down through here. I got a little too much water right here, so now I'm just moving it along. By going back and picking it up. And bringing that water right down here. Okay, that's taking a nice softened little look to it there. Starting to get a softened look. It'll start showing once I get this background going. But first I want to work on these. Don't forget the leaves on this side. Push it off and just rub the water on there. Get that one right there. Okay. That one needs a little better blend. Yeah, push the green, the light green down into it. So we're going to do this little vine. Starting it up with activating that dark green. There we go. Waking it up. Okay. Get my regular brush. Now we're going to start working on this cross. Dark chocolate going right through here. Right up through here. Careful, don't want to get too much in my little flower. Just kind of bring this down and around right through here. About like that. And this right around the inside here. So that we can see the darkness of it back in there. But then we want to bring the yellow out right down through the middle. Okay. Kind of smooth this out a little bit. Let's work on the next piece. Pull it up through there. Don't want to get too much yellow. I want that to be darker. Bring some of this dark up here. There we go. That's better. All right. Get this piece here. As you can tell, in this area, I added more water than I did in the areas where I was painting the little vines and the flowers. I added a lot more water in this area because I wanted it to blend a lot easier. Just kind of dragging this around a little bit. Okay, I'm thinking the cross looks pretty good now. We'll work on just getting it all smoothed out. I want that to be darker here. Yeah, and I don't want that to look so light right there. There we go. That's better. So that kind of all blended up right through here. Put this in here. This is actually an Easter design. But you know, a lot of times the Easter designs work just as well for pretty sympathy cards. I mean, think about it. Okay, I'm just going to blend this down a little bit down through here. Let me get just a smidgen more water. And then start moving this darker blue again. Yeah. Just trying to get a little bit of a darker concentration in the corner. Add a little more blue in some spots just by dragging some of the extra paint over. Okay, that looks pretty good. Move this a little bit, just a little bit right here. I don't like how that looks. Kind of smooth it down a little. Start swirling it a little. Get me a little more water. Get it closer. So I do want it to be touching the cross. Okay, activate this darker blue. Okay, now let me wipe that a little bit. Don't want that harsh line there. So we're going to swirl that around and bring it down. Okay, that looks all right, I think. It is amazing once you start adding the water to the card, how all that wild scribbling that you did suddenly begins to become a beautiful painting. Don't want that to get in there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good right there. Smooth that down right here. Now I think we're ready to start adding the fun stuff. Let me see. See if I can clean you up a little bit. So another thing about watercolors is you can go back with water and wipe off and remove where things get a little crazy sometimes. Now that doesn't mean you can fix everything, because now watercolors are not like acrylics. But you can layer things. You can layer repeatedly. And you can remove by adding water and lifting it off and wiping your brush and wiping your brush. Lift it off and wipe your brush. And that will remove things. Because when you wipe it off, you're pulling the pigment off of the paper onto your brush, and then you're wiping it onto your paper towel. Oh, I hear Coco downstairs ringing the bell. Let me just add a little bit of brown right in here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me get a white pen out. Rinse that. I do have white pens out. Are you usable? We'll shake these up. Yeah, you look like you're going to be usable. And we're just going to bring this right along the outside of it. Outline this. with white. Kind of help it pop a little bit. Might be a little bit wet, but it still looks like it's taken the white. I might have to run downstairs and let the dog out. I hope not. She's ringing the bell repeatedly. I can hear her down there. We've trained her since she was a puppy that if you want out, you ring the bell and we will respond and come let you out. Of course, that only works if somebody's home and also if somebody responds. And I'm home, but it's a little hard to respond when I'm online. Makes me feel bad. Okay. Bring that right around there. All right. Then we're going to take this and we're going to put white right on the outside of each of the leaves. I'm not sure if you guys can see what I'm doing or not. I don't know that it shows very well. But once I take the picture after it's finished, I think it will. Okay. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I might have to outline the flowers in black. Well, then we're just going to add the fun white dots. These are little white flowers that are just sort of hanging down over. Just lots and lots of little white dots. Okay, and then we'll put a couple of them. Oh, let's see, we'll have another one coming out of here. Put a few dots up in this area. Just some pretty white dots all over the place, just to add a little bit of fun to it. Put some more right in here. I am going to outline them flowers in white. Okay. Now, do I have a fine line black marker? Probably not. Is that what you are? Nope, that's not what you are. No, I don't think I do. Okay, well then we won't do that part. Or we won't do... What are you? Yep. There we go. Press it down. Come on, black pen, work. Well, shoot. It's brand new. That's getting a little bit of scratch to the edge of it. Just real quick lines. You're not trying to actually outline it. side of where that white is. So I'm leaving like the space of white in between. All right. And there we have it. Let's peel the tape off. And then we'll finish the outline right here. It went beyond the edge. And now we've got a little leaf here that didn't get painted. So let me put my cap back on my pen. And I'm going to take my brush and get it wet. Get this wet. And I'm going to add the color to the card. So there's the light green color going on. And then now where's that dark green? There's that jade. Put some water on that tip of that brush, or tip of that pencil. Get it good and wet. Get some of the thicker color in there. Pull it in. That's a bit too much water. Pick it up with that, and then get more off of the tip of here. Fill it in that way. Better yet, we'll rub it in. Quickest way to transfer it, right there. And there we have it, guys. There's our pretty little card. Hey, Mel. The white does help. Yeah, it does, really does. It does make it help a lot. But there we have it. It's all done. On the inside, it says, "Look to the Lord in his strength. Seek his face always." So I've got it ready. It's just got to dry and I got to flatten it. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys being here with me. I'll see you again on Wednesday. No, this is Wednesday. Ha! I'll see you Saturday. Bye, guys.